Good morning. Breaking overnight, a Polish F-16 fighter jet has crashed during an airshow rehearsal, the pilot's condition unknown. I'm Remo, and this is the Daily Signal for August 29th, 2025. Stay tuned for the rest of the stories.
Unfiltered. Now,
Here are the other top stories for August 29th, 2025. European nations are moving to restart UN sanctions on Iran after nuclear program violations. Ranking senators issue urgent statement on Israeli strikes hitting Damascus overnight. Trump announces fresh tariffs on small packages as duty-free exemptions officially end today. Hundreds of UN staff are pressuring the rights chief to officially declare Gaza a genocide. Putin holds critical energy summit with Modi and Xi as global supply chains shift. Trump's Ukraine peace plan revealed, and it involves a controversial land swap proposal. Israel is blocking foreign doctors from volunteering in Gaza, creating a medical crisis. New satellite images show an entire Gaza City neighborhood reduced to wasteland. Scientists confirm climate change made this summer's deadly Mediterranean wildfires more fierce. Now let's dive into each story. Breaking details on that Polish F-16 crash. The fighter jet went down during what should have been routine airshow practice. Here's what happened. The aircraft was rehearsing for a public demonstration when witnesses saw it suddenly lose altitude and impact the ground. The pilot's condition remains unknown. Emergency responders are on scene but haven't released details. This isn't just any aircraft. F-16s are the backbone of Poland's NATO defense commitment, worth over $30 million each. Why this matters to you: Poland borders Ukraine and has been a critical staging area for NATO support. Any disruption to their air capabilities affects Western defense posture. These crashes also raise immediate questions about mechanical issues that could ground entire fleets. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, Europe is pulling the trigger on Iran sanctions. After months of warnings, European nations are formally moving to restart UN restrictions that were supposed to expire in October. The reason? Iran has crossed red lines on nuclear enrichment. Here's the critical detail. Iran is now enriching uranium to levels that put them weeks, not months, from weapons-grade material. The UN Security Council held emergency closed-door meetings yesterday to invoke what's called the snapback mechanism. This means immediate economic pressure, oil exports restricted, banking frozen, technology transfers blocked. Iran's currency has already dropped 15% just on rumors of these moves. Why you should care? Oil prices will spike. Iran supplies 4% of global oil, and any disruption ripples through your gas tank. Plus, this escalates tensions with Iran's allies, Russia and China, right when global alliances are already strained. Speaking of Middle East tensions, Israeli strikes hit Damascus overnight, and now U.S. senators are weighing in officially. Ranking Member Shaheen and Senator Ernst released a joint statement with Representative Wilson, demanding answers about the targets and civilian impact. Here's what we know. Multiple explosions rocked Syria's capital around 3 a.m. local time. Initial reports suggest ammunition depots and Iranian-linked facilities were hit. No casualty reports yet, but residents reported broken windows miles from the blast sites. The Senate statement is significant because it questions whether these strikes align with U.S. strategic interests. They're demanding a classified briefing on whether American intelligence was used. Why this matters? When U.S. lawmakers publicly question Israeli military actions, it signals potential shifts in the special relationship. This could affect billions in military aid and regional stability. On the economic front, Trump just hit your online shopping with new tariffs. As of today, the duty-free exemption on packages under $800 is officially dead, and Trump is adding fresh tariffs on small shipments. Here's the immediate impact. That $50 gadget from overseas? Add $7 to $15 in new fees. The $200 dress? Another $30 to $40. These aren't just taxes on businesses, they're direct hits to your wallet. The numbers are staggering. Americans import over 1 billion small packages annually. E-commerce companies like Amazon and eBay are scrambling to adjust their pricing systems before the morning rush. Why Trump's doing this? He claims it levels the playing field for American manufacturers and generates revenue. But economists warn this could increase inflation just when families are recovering from previous price surges. You'll want to remember this detail. Companies had been gaming the system by splitting large orders into smaller packages to avoid duties. Now that loophole is closed. This connects to our next story about international pressure. Hundreds of UN staff are breaking rank to pressure their own boss into calling Gaza a genocide. This internal letter, obtained by Reuters, shows unprecedented dissent within the organization. Here's what they're not telling you. The letter has over 800 signatures from UN employees, ranging from field workers to senior officials. They're demanding the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights officially use the G word. The stakes are massive. If the UN formally declares genocide, it triggers international legal obligations. Countries would be required to intervene, potentially meaning NATO involvement. The real story is the timing. This pressure comes as satellite images show entire neighborhoods destroyed and casualty numbers climb past 40,000. But Israel maintains they're targeting military infrastructure. Why this internal rebellion matters. When the UN's own staff revolt against leadership, it signals the organization's credibility is at stake. This could reshape how international law gets enforced. Speaking of international alliances, Putin just held a game-changing energy summit with India's Modi and China's Xi. Behind closed doors, they're reshaping global energy markets while the West wasn't watching. The critical development: Russia is offering India and China massive oil and gas discounts in exchange for long-term commitments. We're talking contracts worth over $400 billion spanning the next decade. Here's the geopolitical shift. India, which the U.S. has been courting as a democratic ally, is deepening energy ties with authoritarian Russia. This undercuts Western sanctions and creates new power blocks. The immediate impact on you: global energy markets are being redrawn. As Russia secures Asian buyers, Middle Eastern suppliers may need to compete more aggressively for Western customers, potentially lowering your energy costs. But there's a strategic cost. This alliance gives Putin the economic lifeline he needs to sustain military operations while providing China and India cheaper energy than Western markets. Trump's Ukraine peace plan is out, and it's controversial. Sources reveal his frantic dash for peace centers on a land swap deal that would permanently change Ukraine's borders. Here's the explosive detail. The proposal would give Russia formal control over currently occupied territories in exchange for security guarantees for the remainder of Ukraine. Putin keeps Crimea and parts of eastern Ukraine, but promises to go no further. Ukrainian officials are reportedly furious. They've spent 2 years fighting to reclaim every inch of territory, losing hundreds of thousands of soldiers and civilians. Now they're being asked to surrender land for promises. The European reaction is telling. NATO allies are quietly expressing concern that this rewards aggression. If Russia keeps conquered territory, what stops similar invasions elsewhere? Why this affects global stability? Land swaps sound reasonable, but they rewrite the principle that borders can't be changed by force. Every territorial dispute worldwide is watching this precedent. Meanwhile, the humanitarian crisis deepens. Israel is systematically blocking foreign doctors who want to volunteer in Gaza, creating a medical catastrophe. NPR reports that visa applications from international medical volunteers are being denied at unprecedented rates. The numbers are stark. Before October 7th, roughly 200 foreign medical volunteers worked in Gaza monthly. Now it's fewer than 20, while medical needs have exploded. Here's what this means practically. Hospitals are performing surgery without anesthesia, amputating limbs without proper equipment, and turning away patients they could save with adequate staff. Israeli officials claim security concerns, but medical organizations argue this violates international humanitarian law. The World Health Organization has formally protested these restrictions. The human cost is immediate. Doctors Without Borders estimates that 40% of preventable deaths in Gaza result from insufficient medical personnel rather than direct combat injuries. This connects to our next story about destruction. New satellite images reveal an entire Gaza City neighborhood has become a wasteland. The New York Times analysis shows what was once a thriving residential area is now unrecognizable rubble. The before and after comparison is shocking. Satellite data from January shows intact apartment blocks, schools, and markets. Today's images show nothing but debris fields and crater-marked earth. This isn't just one or two buildings. We're talking about a square kilometer that housed over 15,000 people, now completely flattened. Urban planners estimate it would take a decade and billions of dollars to rebuild. The broader pattern is alarming. These images suggest systematic destruction beyond military necessity. International law requires proportionality in warfare, and these visuals raise serious legal questions. In environmental news, scientists have confirmed climate change made this summer's deadly Mediterranean wildfires more fierce. The new study shows temperatures that should occur once per century are now happening every few years. The death toll keeps climbing. Turkey reported 15 fatalities, Greece 8, and Cyprus 3, with hundreds more hospitalized for smoke inhalation. Over 200,000 acres burned across the region. Here's the climate connection. The study found these extreme fire conditions are now 3 times more likely due to human-caused warming. What historically were rare disasters are becoming regular summer threats. This pattern is spreading globally. Similar analyses show increased fire risk in California, Australia, and Canada. The economic damage from this summer's Mediterranean fires alone exceeds €2 billion. 3 major patterns emerge from today's stories that will shape your world. First, institutions are breaking down. Whether it's UN staff rebelling against leadership, NATO allies questioning each other's strikes, or international law being rewritten through land swaps, the post-World War II order is fracturing in real time. Second, economic warfare is replacing military confrontation. Trump's tariffs, European sanctions on Iran, and Putin's energy deals with Asia show how trade has become the primary weapon of international relations. Your wallet is now a battlefield. Third, climate change isn't future risk anymore, it's current crisis. Mediterranean wildfires, coupled with humanitarian disasters in conflict zones, show how environmental and political catastrophes amplify each other. Here's what this means for your daily life. Expect higher prices as supply chains reorganize around new political realities. Prepare for more extreme weather becoming normal. And watch for rapid changes in international relationships that seemed stable just months ago. The bottom line, we're witnessing the emergence of a new world order, and it's happening faster than most institutions can adapt. Stay informed, because these changes will determine everything from your grocery bill to your children's future. That's your daily signal for August 29th, 2025. I'm Remo. Subscribe for tomorrow's breaking analysis, share this with someone who needs to stay informed, and remember, knowledge is power in uncertain times. We'll see you tomorrow morning with the latest developments on all these stories and more. Stay signal strong.
Unfiltered.